The disappearance of 10-month-old Lisa Renee Irwin in October 2011 has become one of the most perplexing missing child cases in recent American history. Over a decade of investigations, media coverage, and public speculation has produced a complex mosaic of facts, timelines, forensic findings, and competing theories. Hi guys, this is Shay, and this is The Evidence Locker. Sorry for our absence last week, we were dealing with some health issues, and starting this week, our unsolved episode will be on Wednesdays instead of Tuesdays, but you can still expect our normal solved Saturdays. The Renee Irwin was born on November 11th, 2010, in Independence, Missouri. At the time of her disappearance, she was 10 months and 23 days old, described by her parents as a sweet, happy baby who loved her older half-brothers. She was nicknamed Pumpkin Pie by her father. Physical characteristics recorded by law enforcement include blue eyes, blonde hair, and a birthmark on her right outer thigh, 2 bottom teeth, and a bug bite under her left eye. The clothing she wore when last seen consisted of purple shorts or pants and a purple shirt with white kittens. Her parents, Deborah Bradley and Jeremy Irwin, lived in northern Kansas City, Missouri, often referred to as Northland. Deborah was a stay-at-home mother, Jeremy worked as an electrician, and, to supplement the family's income, took a night shift at a local Starbucks. The household also included 2 older sons from previous relationships, Michael, age 5, and Blake, age 8. The chronology of Lisa's disappearance is marked by shifting accounts, but several core elements recur across multiple sources. On the evening of October 3, 2011, according to the earliest version, Deborah placed Lisa in her crib sometime after 6:40 p.m., checked on her around 10:30 p.m., and then retired to the master bed with the older boys. Revised timeline, reported a month later, adds that Jeremy arrived home from work at 2:30 p.m., remained with the children until 5:30 p.m., and left for his Starbucks shift shortly thereafter. During Jeremy's absence, neighbor Samantha Brando visited with her 4-year-old daughter, checked on the half-brothers, and later spent time on the Irwin porch drinking wine with Deborah. Deborah reportedly consumed 5 to 10 glasses of wine before retiring for the night. Early morning, 4th of October 2011, Jeremy returned home at 3:45 a.m. Some accounts say 4, but I'm going to go with 3:45, and immediately noted several irregularities. The front door was unlocked, several interior lights remained on, and a computer room window was ajar. He walked past the boys' bedroom, observed the older boy on the top bunk, and saw Lisa's door open, but did not look inside. Continuing to his own bedroom, he eventually entered the nursery and discovered Lisa missing from her crib. The family called 911 shortly thereafter, using Jeremy's work phone because all 3 household cell phones were missing from their usual charging spot. The missing phones later became a focal point of the investigation, especially after a 50-second call was traced from one of them to a woman named Megan Wright. Kansas City police arrived within 10 minutes of the 911 call. Initial statements from Deborah were inconsistent. She first told officers she had put Lisa to bed at 10:30 p.m., later adjusting her account to 6:40 p.m. That's a very big discrepancy. The police took a detailed physical description of the child, blue eyes, blonde hair, purple clothing, birthmark, and recent tooth eruption, and entered it in 2 national missing child databases. Amber Alert was issued but canceled 12 hours later after Captain Steve Young judged that its efficiency had been exhausted. The alert's brief lifespan underscored the urgency, yet also the limited window for rapid public dissemination. From the outset, 2 independent witnesses reported seeing a man carrying a baby. One claimed the sighting occurred at 12:15 a.m., describing the infant in a diaper despite the cold weather. Another witness reported a man walking near an intersection 3 miles from the Irwin home, also holding a naked baby. Police identified a local handyman, John Jersey Tanko, whose description matched the first witness. However, he was eventually cleared as a suspect. Surveillance video captured a man in white leaving a nearby wooded area at 2:30 a.m., adding to the mystery but offering no definitive link to Lisa. On October 19, 2011, cadaver dogs were brought to the Irwin residence. They alerted near Deborah's bed, suggesting the scent of a dead body, though investigators later discounted this finding. Police executed a search warrant on October 19th, removing several household items as evidence: a multicolor comforter, purple shorts, a multicolored Disney character shirt, a Cars-themed blanket, rolls of tape, a tape dispenser, and a glowworm toy. In October 2013, a young girl named Maria was found in a Romani settlement in Greece, prompting the Irwins to wonder if she might be Lisa. However, DNA testing proved the girl was unrelated, and the lead was dismissed. One of the 3 missing cell phones placed a 50-second call to Megan Wright, the ex-girlfriend of Jersey Tanko, shortly after midnight on the night of the disappearance. Megan denied answering the call, claiming the phone had been loaned to a man named Dane. Dane, described by an ex-roommate as edgy and secretive, had been expelled from the household weeks earlier for alleged drug involvement. The call's content and origin remain unknown, but its timing and connection to a person previously linked to the case keep it a point of interest. In May 2012, Jeremy disclosed that his debit card had been stolen a month after Lisa vanished. A fraudulent charge of $69.04 was made on a British website offering false birth certificate services for adults and children. 2 additional attempted charges were never resolved. Kansas City police investigated the incident but found no concrete link to the disappearance. The relationship between the Irwin family and law enforcement grew strained early on. Police accused Deborah of involvement, stating, "You did it, and we have nothing," during an Associated Press interview. Deborah reportedly failed a polygraph test administered by investigators, a result she contested. Both parents announced a private reward, later supplemented by an anonymous benefactor who hired a private investigator, offering $100,000 for information leading to Lisa. Legal representation shifted when attorney Cindy Short withdrew in October 2011, citing incompatibility with co-counsel Joe Tacopina. Tacopina alleged that the parents canceled scheduled DNA collections for the older brothers and denied investigators further access. The brothers eventually underwent a second interview on November 10, 2011. Case received extensive media attention. The Irwins appeared on The Today Show on October 7, 2011, when Deborah discussed her failed polygraph and Jeremy expressed willingness to cooperate fully. Subsequent coverage spanned television, podcasts, and streaming services. Now, let's get into the theories. First, stranger abduction theory. The stranger abduction hypothesis posits that an unknown individual entered the Irwin home, took Lisa, and either killed her or placed her in illegal adoption channels. The theory rests on several factual observations. The front door was unlocked, lights remained on, a window was open, and 3 cell phones were missing when Jeremy returned home in the early morning hours. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NCMEC, reports that 335 stranger infant abductions occurred in the U.S. between 1964 and 2021, with 147 of them, or 43.9%, occurring in the home. However, most of those cases involve the abductor impersonating a trusted figure, such as a nurse or a babysitter, rather than breaking in at night. This statistical profile does not perfectly match Lisa's case, but it does show that home abductions while rare, are not unprecedented. There is significant counter evidence, however. Despite extensive cadaver dog sweeps, forensic searches, and a 17-hour canine effort, no remains or physical trace have been found. Also, John Jersey Tanko was questioned and subsequently cleared. No DNA or other physical evidence ties him to the crime. And lastly, the video of a man in white does not show a baby, and the identity of the man remains unknown. The second theory, which is what most people believe, is the familial involvement theory. The familial involvement theory suggests that one or both parents, or someone close to them, played a role either through direct action, negligence, or a cover-up. The hypothesis draws on inconsistencies in the parents' statements, alleged police pressure on Deborah, and forensic clues near the mother's bed. First are the timeline inconsistencies. Largely, Deborah's bedtime claim. Initially, she said she checked on Lisa at 10:30 p.m. Later, she changed it to 6:40 p.m. This contradiction fueled police suspicion that the parents were either hiding details or unintentionally misremembering events under stress. During an Associated Press interview, investigators told Deborah, you did it, and we have nothing," and she subsequently failed a lie detector test administered by police. Although polygraph results are non-admissible in court, the failure amplified the narrative that law enforcement believed she was involved. Cadaver dogs also hit near the parents' bed on October 19, 2011. While later deemed a false positive, the alert prompted a deeper search of the bedroom and the removal of items, such as comforter and clothing, that could have contained biological evidence. No DNA or other forensic material linked the mother or anyone else to a homicide, but the alert remains a point of intrigue for proponents of this theory. In May 2012, the Irwins discovered unauthorized use of their debit card on a site that sells false birth certificates. Some theorists argue that this could have been a method to create a new identity for Lisa, though investigators found no direct connection. The call to Megan Wright from a missing phone could have been made by a family member attempting to mislead investigators or by an accomplice within the household. After the initial investigation, public sentiment shifted against Deborah. A Dr. Phil interview in February 2012 saw the family defending themselves, yet the narrative of a mother who killed her baby persisted in media coverage. Tense scrutiny may have contributed to the family's defensive posture, which in turn reinforced police suspicion. Now, within this theory, there are three main sub-theories. First, accidental death and cover-up. Lisa may have died accidentally, such as suffocation, and the parents concealed the death out of fear of prosecution. Some evidence that supports this is the cadaver dog alert near the mother's bed, the missing phones, possibly removed to hide evidence, and the parents' inconsistencies with the timeline. Second theory is deliberate homicide. One or both parents intentionally killed Lisa for whatever reason. Some evidence behind this is the police accusations, failed polygraph, and the "you did it" statement. Third sub-theory is a staged disappearance. The family fabricated the disappearance to hide abuse or another crime. This is backed up by the cancellation of DNA sampling, the fraudulent birth certificate site, and the removal of personal items during the warrant. However, there is counter-evidence to the familial involvement theory as well. No blood, DNA, or other forensic trace linking the parents to a homicide has ever been found. In addition, the older half-brothers have not been implicated, and their testimonies have not contradicted the parents' core story beyond the timeline issues. As of the latest updates, Lisa Irwin has been missing for over 14 years. Law enforcement continues to list her as an active missing person case, maintaining age progression images for public reference. NCMEC and NamUs both host her profile. Periodic tips still arrive, but no breakthrough has emerged. The family maintains public appeals, and the anonymous benefactor's private investigator remains engaged in searching for new leads. Disappearance of Lisa Renee Irwin stands as a haunting illustration of how a seemingly ordinary night can unravel into a labyrinth of unanswered questions, conflicting testimonies, and enduring heartache. From the initial discovery of an unlocked door and missing phones to the perplexing phone call to Megan Wright, the case has generated a wealth of factual data that, when assembled, paints a picture of both meticulous investigative effort and profound mystery. Despite exhaustive searches, forensic examinations, and media scrutiny spanning more than a decade, the truth behind Lisa's vanishing remains elusive. Whether the answer lies in the actions of an unknown stranger, a tragic accident, or darker familial involvement, the facts documented across all the sources converge on one undeniable reality. A child's life was abruptly interrupted, and her family, community, and a nation of true crime observers continue to seek answers, and, ultimately, the safe return of Lisa Irwin. This has been The Evidence Locker. I am the host and writer of this episode, Shay, and it has been audio edited by my husband, Toby. If you like us, give us a like and follow, and leave a review. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week as we open another locker. Stay curious, stay safe.